Good day everyone. This is our last instructional video for Earth and Life Science Unit 1, Earth's Materials and Processes. And our last lesson for this unit is all about endogenic processes. But before we start with our lesson, let us have first a prayer. Now, we are done on our last lesson, which is endogenic processes. Last time, we discussed about the different exogenic processes, which talk about different types of erosion and how they form erosional landforms that shape our planet Earth. Now, we will talk about the different endogenic processes or processes that happens inside our Earth and how they affect the rock cycle. For this lesson, we have two main objectives. First is describe the physical and chemical changes in rocks due to changes in pressure and temperature, or what we call metamorphism. And lastly, describe how magma is formed or magmatism. Let us discuss first the metamorphism or the process of changing rocks into metamorphic rocks. Okay? So after being transported into different parts of the world, the different sedimentary rocks that is transported by erosion will now undergo a process called metamorphism. And what is this metamorphism? Metamorphism is the process of transforming fine-grained sedimentary rocks into metamorphic rocks without altering their compositional structure, and it is because of heat, pressure, and chemically active fluids. So, for example, a sedimentary rock has been transported into beneath the Earth's surface. It will encounter extreme heat and direct pressure. Okay? So when that happens, the rock will change its physical composition to become a new metamorphic rock. Okay? So from being fine-grained sediments, they will come together, compress, and they will form a new rock that is called as metamorphic rock. They undergo also a process called foliation. It is written on your learning packet. Okay? Foliation or different breaks, okay, which determine where does the metamorphism occurs. Okay, for example, the area of pressure is on the top of the big rock or a rock. The foliation will occur on that area. Okay, kung saan mas marami yung pressure na na-apply or kung saan mas marami yung heat na na-apply, mas maraming foliation or breaks dun sa rocks part na yon makikita. For example, dun sa bottom part nagkaroon ng direct heat and direct pressure, of course, mas malaki yung epekto dun sa part na yon. Mas maraming foliation yung mangyayari. Okay? So, also compression, yun din yung nagkukos kung bakit nag-change yung rock. So, kapag sobra silang nako-compress, maaaring mas maraming heat at pressure yung mako-form. So, when that happens, the rock changes from sedimentary to metamorphic rock. Okay? So that is another part of rock cycle. So when that occur, kapag continuous yung apply na heat, pressure, or chemically active fluid dun sa isang rock, it will now enter the new phase which is called as the magmatism. Okay? So when magmatism occurs, the rocks go back to its original state which is the magma. Okay? Yun yung unang-una nating process, di ba? Yung magma, kapag lumabas ng volcano, magiging igneous rock. Okay? But then, when the rock cycle ends, the metamorphic rock will change back into magma to start a new cycle again. So, it says here that after the sedimentary rocks change into metamorphic rocks, the metamorphic rocks will now go to the last phase of rock cycle, which is the magmatism, where rocks turn back into its original form. Okay? So pagka masyado nang na-melt, natunaw yung isang rock due to heat and pressure, that will cause it to change into a molten magma, which is the start of the rock cycle again. There are different ways of how magmas are formed. First is pre-existing rocks melts in special areas. Okay, what does it say? Crust and mantle are almost entirely solid. That is why there is a place for the magma to develop or to be formed. Okay, saan ba ma-form yung magma? Magma forms in the lower mantle or in the outer core because it is the part of the earth with extreme heat. Okay, so yung pre-existing rocks, yung mga rocks na nandun na sa ilalim ng lupa natin, magme-melt sila due to the special area wherein there is a high temperature, and that is the first one or first way on how magma is formed. The next way on how magma is formed is through decompression melting or the decrease in pressure. Okay? So sabi ko kanina, pressure is a factor of changing metamorphic rocks from sedimentary rocks. It is also a factor of changing metamorphic rock into magma. How does it become a factor? So kapag mababa yung pressure, mas matagal nag-i-stay yung rock doon sa may part na mayroong large amount of heat. So kapag mas nagtagal siya doon, mas mababa yung pressure, hindi siya naitutulak pataas, mas malaki yung chance na mag-melt siya since the longer it stays, the longer it is exposed to heat, and the chances of melting is high. That's why it is called as decompression melting. Okay? The pressure is low, permitting more rocks to be melt or to be molt. So mas maraming rocks na mamimelt dahil nga mababa yung pressure, hindi siya kagad na push upward, hindi siya na-release agad sa earth, it will have a higher melting rate. Third one is the volatiles. Volatiles break bonds between the rock or what we call as the flux melting. Okay? So volatiles, kapag binrake nila yung bond between the rocks, for example, yung chemical bonds between sulfides which contain sulfur and oxygen, it will easily break because it will lower the rate of melting. So, paano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? For example, ang melting ng rock is 400 degrees Celsius. But when volatiles are added to break the bond between that rock or within that rock, it will decrease, for example, into 300 degrees Celsius. That's why, when the heat is reached at 300, it will now melt, aside from waiting it to become 400. So, ang ginagawa ng volatile, pinapabilis na yung melting process because pinapaba niya yung melting rate ng isang rock by breaking the bonds between or within them. Okay? Next one is through convection currents. Okay, convection currents occur when the magma is circulating under our Earth's surface. Okay? Gumagalaw yan. Okay? The higher magma will go down and the lower magma will go up. So ano yung nagiging effect nung pag-ikot ng magma under our Earth's surface? So kapag yung mga nasa ibabaw na rocks ay dinala sa ilalim, they will become magma. Okay? Tapos yung mga nasa ilalim naman na pupunta sa ibabaw, sila naman yung magme-melt dun sa mga nasa ibabaw para madala din sa ibaba. So paulit-ulit yung process na yon. Hinihit yung nasa ilalim, dinadala yung nasa ilalim pa ibaba para maging magma sila. And then yung mga galing sa ilalim na angat, pwede niya ring i-heat yung mga nasa ibabaw na. Okay, so that is convection current. So yung pag-process ng pag-ikot ng magma. The fourth process of how magmas are formed is through a process what we call magmatic differentiation. There are three subtypes of magmatic differentiation which are crystal fractionation, partial melting, and magma mixing. Okay, let us round down each. When we say crystal fractionation, this means that denser minerals crystallize first and then the lighter one, they become the secondary magma. So for example, when there's a rock and the materials on it is denser, sila yung mas mauunang mag-melt. Okay? Crystal fractionation yung tawag doon. And then yung mga lighter elements, sila pa yung mas mahuhuling mag-melt. Okay, so that's it. Crystal fractionation, this means that denser materials crystallize first and the lighter ones crystallize later. The second way of magmatic differentiation is partial melting. So, ano ba yung nangyayari sa partial melting? Okay. There is an involvement of parent magma here. Okay. So, the parent's magma, its surface is covered with what we call as stable elements. And these stable elements are easily to be melted. Okay. Mas madali silang matunaw kaysa sa dun sa may inner surface ng parent magma. So, ano nangyayari? Yung nasa surface niya, yun yung mas mauunang mag-melt, and then yung maiiwan, yung mga hindi stable elements, they will be called as secondary magma. And then third one, we have what we call magma mixing. It is only simple. This occurs when two different magma rises up and generates a single intermediate between two parent magmas. Okay? So, for example, there's magma A, magma B. And then sabay sila nag-rise up, nag-meet on one place and form a new magma that is called as magma mixing. Okay, again, crystal fractionation, the more dense the material, it will easily melt. Okay. Partial melting from a parent magma, there are stable elements that will melt first, and then the secondary one becomes the secondary magma. And then the last way of magmatic differentiation is what we call as the magma mixing. Okay? When two magmas rise up and meet at a certain place, they will form a new magma. Magma forms also with the relationship of the environment where it is situated. There are different magmas that are formed based on their environment. We have basaltic, rhyolitic, and andesitic. So what are the differences between these three? When we say basaltic magma, it is formed due to a process called decompression melting. I have mentioned that earlier, that decompression melting occurs when the pressure is too low, permitting more magma to become melt or to be melt. So kapag mababa yung pressure, mas marami yung magma na mamemelt since mabagal siyang mag-rise. But its characteristic when it is spewed out from the Earth's surface, kapag naging lava na siya, basaltic magma have the characteristics of low viscosity, low silica, high in iron, and low in volatile such as water. So what does it indicate? So kapag mababa yung viscosity rate, and example niyan yan yung basaltic magma, it will just flow easily. Madali lang siyang mag-flow, dire-diretso, and hindi siya nag-explode. Basta it will run down on a surface. Okay, mababa lang din yung silica content niya, and mababa lang din yung kanyang water content. Next one, we have rhyolitic magma, which are magmas that are formed due to interaction between continents or sediments. Pag maraming nakapalibot na rocks or na continents, ang magiging effect nun is mas mataas yung viscosity ng ganitong magma, which means that it is not or it cannot easily flow. Mabagal siyang mag-flow, masyadong thick yung kanyang composition, so unti-unti siya kagad makapag-flow kapag lumabas siya ng Earth's surface. Okay? And lastly, the andesitic. Okay? The silica and iron and volatile contents and viscosity are intermediate between basaltic and rhyolitic. Okay? So, pag andesitic, nasa middle lang siya. Hindi siya ganon ka-viscous. Nasa mid lang siya, hindi rin naman siya kababa yung viscosity. So, between basaltic and rhyolitic yung kanyang characteristics. So again, pag sinabing basaltic magma, it is formed due decompression melting or yung mabagal na pag-rise ng pressure, leading to low viscosity. Ibig sabihin, mabilis lang siyang magpa-flow kasi walang pipigil sa kanya. And then we have rhyolitic magma, which is formed near sediments or mga bato-bato or continents, which leads it to become higher in viscosity. When we say higher in viscosity, mas matagal siyang mag-flow when it was released on a volcano. Okay, for example. And lastly, the andesitic is the intermediate between rhyolitic and basaltic magma. And that's end our discussion for lesson 3, endogenic processes. Again, it involves the process of changing sedimentary rocks into metamorphic rock through the process of metamorphism, and lastly, through the process of magmatism, which changes the rock into its original state, which is the magma. Okay? Now, if you want to learn more about our topic, open the metamorphism file on your flash drive. Before ending our lesson, let us have values connection to increase your knowledge and to deepen our understanding about exogenic and endogenic processes. Now, Philippines has been a great source of mining industry. There are different companies that manages mining industries or processes that occurs or happens in our country. But last year, our administration put actions to stop this mining industry because they believe that it has a big impact on our environment. Now, what is your stand on shutting down mining industries? Do you agree or do you disagree? Answer your ideas or thoughts about it on the assessment sheets on your learning packet. Now, that's it for our discussion, and let us check on how you understood our lesson. Answer the activity 4 on the assessment sheets. If you have still questions in your mind, you can rewatch the videos that we have that I provided you, and you can also ask me during our consultation time. That's it for our lesson, and I am leaving you with this Bible verse. You are my rock and my fortress. You lead and guide me because of your name. Coming from Psalms 31:3. Thank you, and God bless you all.